Push.
Self-made entrepreneur Bedros Keuilian has grown multiple companies to million-dollar brands, global brands. He's become a thought leader and a household name for franchises like Fit Body Bootcamp.
Be so good at it that people will pay you to do it. I want a $100 million company and I deserve it and it's for me. Because of that, I lost probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. Drive leads, convert them into sales. That's how you build a business. Man, I didn't come from money. I started off by living in a pickup truck and eating out of dumpsters.
Do you want to have the same transformation in your life? Well, keep watching for more of his incredible insights. Bedros, well, it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thanks for coming out, Paul.
Tell us, our viewers, about this location, any significance?
This location is my private gym, BK Strength. I accidentally bought this building about 5 years ago. I thought it was going to be my headquarters for Fit Body Bootcamp, our franchise. My wife quickly reminded me after we bought the building that it's across the street from the Chino State Prison. And the last thing you want is for your franchisees to come into town and see the prison across the street from your headquarters. So I decided to turn it into a private gym instead, where me, my family, my clients, my employees could all work out here.
This is a pretty cool place you have here.
Thanks, man.
For people that don't know about you or know very little, can you just start with your story, your background, really quick? Where did you come from? How did you end up here?
Yeah, dude, it's like the Cinderella story for me. I was 6 years old, and my dad, who was a member of the Communist Party in the Soviet Union, he's like, hey, we're gonna escape. Right? So all of a sudden we're packing our bags and we escape the Soviet Union, Armenia specifically in 1980. And we come to the United States and we're poor, we're broke, living in Section 8 government assisted housing. But what's really cool about that is I learned the value of being resourceful. I learned the value of being resilient. I learned the value of being able to figure things out because my family had to figure things out. We're either paying the electric bill or the gas bill or the water bill, but we can't pay all the bills. Little did I know that struggle as a young man growing up in this country, didn't understand the language or the culture. It was all great training to become an entrepreneur. So, sometimes our mess early on in our life becomes our message years later.
Mm-hmm. Incredible. If an entrepreneur doesn't have a business idea specifically, how does one decide what is best to pursue that maybe fits more closely to my skills, experience, and so forth?
So somebody asked me that at a speaking event, and I said, hey, imagine if there was a gun to your head. I go, now I said, I'm gonna pull the trigger if you don't give me the answer. What is the one thing you would do for free if I paid for your whole lifestyle, your health insurance, everything, food, rent, everything? Like, oh, man, I would repair motorcycles, like classic motorcycles, like specifically Hondas is what he mentioned. I was like, great. Be so good at it that people will pay you to do it. Like people think that I got to go out there and find this business model that is going to make me money. Find the thing that you're going to be passionate about, even when the odds are stacked against you. See, I love franchising so much. I love gyms so much. I love health and wellness and mindset so much. When the pandemic came, it didn't discourage me. I was still focused. I was still disciplined. I was still gung-ho. Even when we lost 218 franchise locations in the 10-month period of the pandemic. Could you imagine if I went into the fitness and franchising industry because it's a lucrative industry? Well, as soon as some kind of setback comes, like the pandemic, I'd give up. And so if you do something that you're excited about, that you would do for free, because it is like if someone paid for your lifestyle, you would do this thing for free, then be so good at it and then share it on social media that people will pay you for it.
How do I vet it though? Let's say I have an idea, but I'm like, I don't know. Do I go through some kind of market exploration or?
I would Google. I love Google.
That's it?
Is someone restoring old, classic Honda motorcycles? If the answer is yes, you shouldn't get discouraged like, oh man, someone's already got my idea. If someone's proven the concept and there's 10 other people restoring it, be the number one guy who restores it. Be the authority, become a celebrity of it. Like find celebrities who own Hondas, restore it for them for free, and then let them talk about it, right, on social media. So the way I vet anything is if I come up with an idea, I go, is it out there already? Or something like it. If it is, it's got legs. Then I go, how can I differentiate? How can I make it unique? Mm-hmm. How can I make it better?
That's incredible. There's a lot of ideas out there, you guys, right? So just find what you're passionate about.
What you're passionate about, what you would do for free if someone else paid for your lifestyle.
So what was the first business that you opened, and how old were you, and what was the biggest challenge in getting that going?
Yeah, so the first business was a big flop, which was a online store called TotalMuscle.com, 1997, AOL, dial-up, and obviously
I forgot what dial-up sounds like.
The internet hadn't popped off yet, so that was a massive failure. It was an online supplement business. Mm-hmm. But I knew that there was something there, and so I wasn't about to quit. And it was the second or actually third iteration of my business that really took off, which was actual gyms that I had across San Diego County, 5 different gyms.
Today, how many total businesses do you have? And what's the revenue across all of them, and what's the most profitable business?
So today I have 7 different businesses,
Wow.
and I have equity in about a dozen others in terms of some level of equity profit share. Total net revenue from the businesses that I own, just over $200 million a year.
That's incredible.
Yeah, the biggest one, the big behemoth being Fit Body Bootcamp, the international fitness franchise all throughout the world. We have hundreds of locations throughout US and Canada. The most profitable, however, is not Fit Body Bootcamp because there's a lot of working parts to a big franchise. The most profitable business that I have is my coaching business, coaching and consulting for high-level entrepreneurs who want to add more zeros to their bank account and add more meaning to their life.
Bedros, what are some of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make that you've learned and you've understood over time, and how does that impact their business, their life overall?
That's a really great question. And I found that leadership is the lid. And what I mean by that is your level of leadership will determine how much money you'll make, how much impact you'll have, how much growth you'll see. Because if you can't build a team that you can lead, and that team needs to be high performing, you're always going to find yourself in the trenches looking down and in versus up and out. And a leader is supposed to be looking up and out into the future, a visionary. Whereas poor leadership says, well, I've got bad employees, so I'm going to have to be in the trenches doing the work myself. And that's a big mistake.
So you can be an entrepreneur, but you will be a bad leader.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of us, we're not factory installed to have great leadership. I think small groups of people maybe have leadership skills. The rest of us have to develop it like a muscle.
6 pillars of high performance. Share that with us.
Yeah. When I wrote my book, Man Up, it was really, again, a book for me. I figured if I was such a startup failure as an entrepreneur because I wasn't a great communicator, I wasn't a great leader, I wasn't a great visionary, I knew how to market and sell, but that can only take you so far. Fit Body Bootcamp, my franchise, was supposed to fail 3 times, and I was able to kind of save it from 3 different nosedives because of poor leadership on my part. And that's something that no entrepreneur wants to admit, but poor leadership on my part almost tanked Fit Body Bootcamp. So as I came out the other end and it hit the Inc. 5000 list and Entrepreneur Magazine's 200 fastest growing franchises and all these accolades, I was like, all right, what was different about Bedros 1.0 versus Bedros 2.0? And I identified these 6 pillars and I wrote about it in my book, Man Up, which is who man up to your higher potential. Pillar 1, self-discipline. If you're not self-disciplined, if you can't lead by example, you're going to feel like an imposter. And your team, your clients, your customers are going to see that you're an imposter. Pillar number 2, as a visionary, you must be able to cast a great vision and mission. Like, what do you want and when do you want it by? That's a great vision. Back in the day, if you asked me, Bedros, what do you want for Fit Body Bootcamp? I would say a lot of locations. When do you want it by? As soon as possible, Paul. That is very unclear. When I said I want 2,500 locations by the year 2026, that was very specific. Pillar number 3, be a great communicator. Be able to articulate a message. And the best way you can do that is by tell, show, do. Tell them what you want, show them how you want it done, ask for a due date. Pillar number 4, be decisive. Great leaders, entrepreneurs, high performers are all decisive. Doesn't mean they make the right decision every time, but they are decisive. They make a decision every time, and then they have to course correct if they went down the wrong path. They do, but be decisive. Pillar number 5, be emotionally disciplined. One time, full disclosure, when I was a younger entrepreneur, an employee took some personal training clients and went off and started his own business. I chewed him out over the phone. I reacted instead of responded. So someone who's emotionally disciplined will take a step back, even if it's 5 minutes or 5 days. Do I want to send this angry text or angry letter or make this angry call? The difference between reaction and response is emotional discipline. And then the 6th and final pillar is to build a high-performing team. If you want to succeed in any kind of business venture, employees aren't going to cut it because employees clock in a little late, clock out a little early, and do the bare minimum to maintain employment. What I want is a high-performing team, a group of savages that believe in the mission, the vision, and the leader, and play to win. That's a high-performing team.
It's been a rough year. Inflation is at an all-time high. Here's what the Wall Street Journal had to say about the stock market. The 60-40 portfolio is delivering its worst returns in a century. Supposedly, we are in a recession, and with the decline in the stock market, I bet you're wondering what other investment options are out there. Well, I'm truly excited to share with you guys an incredible revolutionary opportunity, and that is fine art investing with Masterworks. That's right. Fine art, no longer for the ultra-wealthy. Masterworks makes it a possibility for you and everyone to participate. Here's how it works. Masterworks is a platform that files paintings with the SEC, turning legendary art into actual investment for just a fraction of the full price. They have collections from respectable artists like Picasso, Banksy, and Jean-Michel Basquiat, just to name a few, and they have new offerings every week. Just in the last 3 months, investors have gotten back between 13 and 33% in net returns. We love bringing these kind of opportunities to you. The fact that art is tangible, it gives you the opportunity to take a real asset and turn it into a real investment. I mean, in theory, you can actually go and look, maybe not touch, the art pieces that you've invested in. Now, how cool is that? Masterworks is the real deal. Every week, there's 600,000 members buy out all the shares in minutes. But you guys, they're giving UpFlip viewers priority access to their new arrivals. That's right, priority access to their new arrivals. So don't wait, click the link in the description below to jump in on this incredible opportunity.
Where are we heading at this point?
So we're leaving our gym here and we're heading to our corporate office, Fit Body Bootcamp and Keuilian headquarters, about 3 miles away.
In today's day and age, how important is it for you to have a YouTube channel or have an Instagram presence, to be a successful entrepreneur? Do you think I can succeed without any of that?
Yes, I think
You can.
I think an entrepreneur can succeed on the value of their business. If their business is a solid product, great service, people start talking about it, it'll succeed. Like there's plenty of businesses out there, we don't know who the face of it is or the leader is, and that's fine. But if you are meaning and not just money driven, but meaning and fulfillment driven,
Okay.
I highly suggest, and I think most people are, most people want to do more than just make money. They want to help the next generation that's coming up and help them solve their problems and give them a leg up in terms of their understanding of the meaning of life. Like if you understand it, why not share it with the next generation to give them an advantage, right?
Seems like the only right thing to do.
Right, exactly. And so then in that case, create a platform, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and share, give freely. And not only does it give you fulfillment and meaning, in addition to the money you're making, but it also helps you become a brand. And no time in history have we had the opportunity to become, an individual can become a brand. There used to be a time that you would have to hope that you get on late night news or
Right.
talk show host, and then you become a brand, a celebrity. Dude, now
That's
anybody can become a celebrity and become a
13-year-old
brand.
can
Yeah, let's use The Rock, Dwayne
Right.
Johnson, a pro wrestler, decides to turn himself into a brand and therefore can market shoes, shirts, tequila, movies,
Anything,
anything, right? And who am I? I'm an immigrant that came from the Soviet Union to this country, built a brand of myself, and therefore I can market a fitness franchise, supplements, coaching business, men's personal development program, software company, apparel company. Once you become a brand, people buy the brand and whatever the brand endorses.
Tell us where we are.
So we're here at Fit Body Bootcamp World Headquarters. When we bought the building, it was just for Fit Body Bootcamp, and now there's 6 other companies that we run out of here.
Everything out of this building.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get in here. Question for you in terms of professional networking, right?
Yeah.
As a new entrepreneur, I would imagine it's kind of tough to get into the right networking groups to then build those relationships.
It is.
Where can I start?
I think one of the best places a new entrepreneur can start is to start going to live events, right? No one says you have to hire a $100,000 business coach who's going to make you connections and introductions and open doors. That certainly does happen. But what if you go to a live event where some of the best speakers that you look up to are there speaking, and they're great entrepreneurs. You hang out, you meet them, you connect with them, maybe
hands.
shake hands, you tell them your idea, you put a name to a face, get them to put a name to a face. So many people are hiding behind their iPhones. And it's like, dude, if you can go to a live event that costs you $200-300, my friend Dan Fleischman has like 7 live events a year for free for entrepreneurs. They're called
free.
elevator nights. You could go there and connect with these people, because then we hang out afterwards, and we want to pay it forward. We were there once.
Right.
And so if you're willing to do that, travel, go to a live event, you can network for free, but then you got to understand how to network. You can't just fanboy out and keep pitching people, because then your reputation spreads as, watch out for that guy. Like, just be cool.
Big no-no.
Build a relationship first, and then they'll ask you, what do you do? And you go, hey, my name is Paul, this is what I do.
All right, well, I'd love to see your office and kind of what's going on in there.
Sure.
So, pretty
Yeah.
neat space.
Yeah, so come this way. This side of the building is the Keuilian Supplements building, and Jeff and his team, they're planning our Black Friday sales. The whole team sits here, from traffic to fulfillment to all that. They run all that here.
How many people do you have working here?
For Keuilian, we've got a team of 5.
Okay.
A team of 5. We do fulfillment out of a different warehouse. Joan sits back here close to my office, because
Hi,
I
Joan.
always need her. I'm very dependent upon Joan. And back in here, this is my office.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
If an entrepreneur is struggling with something, can't figure out exactly what it is, what are some steps to take to figure out, identify that issue, correct it, make sure that it sticks, and doesn't come back again.
Well, if I understand correctly, an entrepreneur is going to suffer from one of two things. They're either suffering from some kind of limiting belief that they're experiencing, an upper limit, right? So imagine this. Yeah. I'm like, all right, I could build $1 million company. I could build a $10 million company. As I started to reach $100 million, there was all these voices in my head. The negative self-talk, the inner critic started saying, are you sure? Is it possible? You're just a foreigner. You dropped out of college. You have never really gotten an MBA. What do you know about a $100 million company? And we start hitting this upper limit that we all have. Every person has an upper limit. And so if a person's struggling and they're finding themselves unable to break through, it might be an upper limit or a belief system that they have to break through. A good therapist or a peak performance coach could help them with that. If they're struggling on the business side, meaning they have no upper limits, they are ready to go, like, I want a $100 million company and I deserve it and it's for me, then you probably have 6s and 7s working for you instead of 8s, 9s, and 10s. And so you have to look into your team and go, all right, who's a 6 or a 7 that's limiting me from getting to $100 million?
Interesting.
And just putting them through the GWC filter. This is from Traction, Gino Wickman. Does the person get the role? G. Do they want it? Do they have the capacity to perform it? GWC. And it's either yes or a no. There is no maybe. So maybe Bedros gets the role. He wants the role. Does he have the capacity to perform the role for a $100 million company? No, he doesn't. Fire him.
That makes sense. I was just thinking about, like, quick to fire, slow to hire, right? You implement the same thing?
Yeah, fire fast,
okay,
hire slow.
Amazing advice. You guys check out our podcast as well if you're looking for more strategies from other very successful people. We talk to many different industries. Check it out. It's upflip.com/podcast. What about SOPs? If I'm starting out as an entrepreneur, what systems should I put in place from the beginning to set myself up for success, growth, etc.?
I think the greatest standard operating procedures are, do you have the ability to drive leads, convert them into sales, satisfy their desire with your product or service, make them evangelical so that they stay, pay, and refer. Like, those 4 things are necessary. Marketing, conversion, meet their expectations so that they will stay, pay, and refer. Like, that's how you build a business. Those SOPs are mandatory. Now, above and beyond that, there's probably dozens that we can come up with, right? Like customer support. Yeah, but those are the foundational SOPs that we need. So many people spend time on what their brand is going to be. Like, I didn't have a logo until 9 years into being...
No logo for 9 years?
No, and it wasn't even me asking for a logo. One of my graphic designers was like, hey, I had some free time at lunch and I drew this. I was like, well, that's cool. Up until then, it was just, can I market? Can I convert the traffic into sales? Can I meet their expectations with my product or service? And then can I get them to stay, pay, and refer?
What is the number one mistake that you made early on as an entrepreneur that you can think of? What did you learn? How did you get out of that setback?
Yeah, so the number one mistake I made was not hiring a coach or a mentor, which is funny because I've always been a big fan of athletics. And you look at any kind of sports, whether it's powerlifting or basketball or football, there's always a coach involved, right? Yet I never connected the dots that if I just treated myself as an entrepreneur like an athlete, there's probably mentors that have already achieved the success that I want, have figured out a better path, and they could help me time collapse results. Because of that, I lost probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in my first 5 to 6 years as an entrepreneur, trying to figure things out on my own.
But coaches and mentors can be quite expensive. And
True.
I see it as an investment. But for somebody that's starting out, what is your advice in terms of, maybe you can't afford a $5,000 a month coach.
Yeah.
Are there other options for us to start coaching at some level and then grow?
There are. So back in my day, before social media existed, right? I'm 48, so this is pre-social media, cassette tapes and DVDs of entrepreneurs. Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Tom Hopkins, Zig Ziglar, Dan Kennedy, Jay Abraham, and these are all people who were really good at being entrepreneurs, and you could buy their book or their audio cassette for 20, 30 bucks.
That's true.
And go through it. Today, you've got social media and podcasts, YouTube videos, where people are freely putting out information, right? Like, I did the Empire podcast that I created for 4 years, 209 episodes. It's like a PhD in being an entrepreneur. That's all free coaching and mentorship. And so there are free or next to free stuff you can do where you're investing time, obviously, right. You're listening or reading, and then at some point, you'll make enough money where you could hire that mentor or coach.
Such as yourself.
Yeah, and then really time collapse because they're going to go, don't do this, do that instead. That's a whisper, avoid it. That's a shout, focus on it.
Here's the other question that follows, though. I don't have any money, Bedros. I don't have any money. I want to pursue that. I'm stuck. So therefore, I'm going to be in employee status.
That would have flown, say, in the 90s, even early 2000s. But now you've got GoFundMe. So again, social media is so powerful that there's other whack jobs just like you who are like, man, I thought of that idea, but since he thought of it, I'm going to help fund him. So if you create a GoFundMe, one, there's a way to do it there. Number two, if it's a service-based business, you literally don't need the money because you could create free content on social media to build an audience, right?
Right.
Then you go to WordPress, that's free, and you link PayPal to it, and you have a sales page that you can accept money from. You got your iPhone, so
pretty easy.
You don't need a videographer. You got your iPhone, create your content, and then tell people to click the link in your bio, go to the website, and pay for your service. So you can start up on a shoestring budget today because of the low barrier to entry. Website is free, WordPress. Payment processing, PayPal is free. You've got social media platforms that'll put the audience in front of you as long as you make awesome how-to videos, right? And then you've got friends and family. If you've got friends and family who believe in you, that believe in your vision, that you've got some kind of track record, that you follow through on everything else in life, maybe they'll throw a few grand your way that'll be seed money, startup money.
It's almost like people use that as an excuse not to pursue what they maybe think they want to, but ultimately, oh, I don't have money, therefore.
Yeah. It's scary being an entrepreneur, man. You know this.
It's not easy, huh?
It's literally jumping out of the airplane and then building the parachute on your way down.
That's beautiful. That's a good analogy. Have you done that many times?
God knows I have. Yeah.
Can you tell us about this wall? It looks pretty incredible.
Look, I'm a self-help, self-development fiend. I get so inspired by successful people. And so a lot of my friends who own big companies or they're celebrities or pro wrestlers or you name it, when they come through and they work out with me here, I'll have them sign the wall and put some inspirational quote up there, usually just to benefit me is how it started, right? Because I'll come here in the mornings and work out and I'll just kind of read the wall, whatever, get inspired. But that's just a real fun, inspirational wall.
Any highlights out of what's written here that you really like?
My son wrote one, Never Stop, Andrew. And I think like if you just boil it down to one thing, it's just never stop. Whatever your vision is, never stop. There's going to be obstacles, setbacks, potholes, pandemics, illnesses and deaths.
Politics and regulations.
And tax and regulations. Just never stop.
Let's switch gears to like the tools that you're using to run your business.
If you're not using the right tools, you're literally operating blind. It's almost like saying that I'm going to come visit you in Bellingham and I'm just going to take the 5 and go north, but I don't have your address. Right? And so if I don't have your address, I might end up somewhere in the general area north of Seattle, but I'm not going to end up at your house.
Right.
And so you don't want to do that in business because that costs you a lot of time and money and energy and lost market share. So we use everything from, like I said, Shopify platforms, ClickFunnels, WordPress, all the way to Stripe accounts, PayPal, all the way to Highrows for tracking leads and ActiveCampaign and Marpost for text delivery and smart email marketing and email automation. And all of those things help us keep our finger on the pulse. I mean, we're seeing what people's movements are on our websites, like on a TrueLean and FitBodyBootcamp.com. When people hit the website, we want to know how much they're scrolling, what they're looking at most, which button they clicked, what can we do to increase conversions, what can we do to increase time on page, what can we do to get them deeper in the pages, right? Because the deeper that you go and read and watch videos, the more likely you are to end up purchasing the product or service. And so all those things are different platforms and softwares that we have to use to be able to have our finger on the pulse and make the next decision. And then from there, when you talk about then running ads and campaigns, we have our own in-house ad agency where we have 3 full-time media guys making videos, pictures, shorts, long documentaries, putting it out there, running traffic to it on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Google. It's like we're figuring out how to do things. And if we want to sell more supplements, we figured out, well, it's cold and flu season, put our wellness shot on Amazon, sell it on Amazon, get them to buy back from your website at a discount by including a discount code in the supplement bag itself, right? Like, hey, for your next purchase, instead of buying from Amazon, go to TrueLean.com and buy from there. Right. So most people don't look at Amazon as a search engine, but I look at Amazon as a search engine. Well, if I have my wellness shots sold on Amazon, Amazon's going to run ads on it on Google. You can buy it from Amazon. I'll share the profit with Amazon once, right? But you then gain that customer the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 20th time.
In terms of trade skills that all entrepreneurs share, what would you think 2, 3 things that come up that all entrepreneurs share across the board?
Well, I think the most successful entrepreneurs have to know how to market, how to sell, and how to lead. Those are skills that are required.
Market, sell, lead.
Market, sell, lead. Because no one's going to do it on their own, right? So you have to be able to lead a team. You have to be able to drive traffic. You have to convert that traffic into money through sales. And then those traits that you need are focus, consistency, and discipline. So many great entrepreneurs know how to market, sell, and lead, but they don't have the traits that they need over long periods of times, like consistency, to stick with it, like the focus, to not let the idea fairy distract them and come up with another idea and another idea and another idea. All these half-baked ideas, none ever finished. And then, of course, you have discipline. Motivation is going to get you out of bed every now and again. Discipline will get you out of bed every single time, no matter how you feel.
Well, why don't we take a quick tour of your facility here, because I know you've got a pretty sick-looking ride there. Even though it's got nothing to do with the interview, I want to take a look at it. But I saw a bunch of axes. Take us in that room and walk us through.
Yeah, let's go take a look. This was supposed to be the garage for my cars. You could imagine all this stuff right here would not be here, and we would have lifts. You've seen those lifts where you can put a car on top and then slide another car under. But when we started running the project, which is what you see, all these axes on the wall. The project is a 75-hour men's personal development program, 75 hours straight. My lead instructors are a Navy SEAL and a Marine. They bring the hurt onto these 30 men who come.
Like real true hurt?
Yeah.
So men give up.
Men give up. Dude, it's crazy. So we've run up to this point 15 classes now over the last 3 years. And for class 1, I asked Ray, I said, hey, what all do we need for the compound? We call this the compound for the project. And he goes, oh yeah, we're gonna need ice baths, and you can see the troughs over there.
Okay.
And we're gonna need these walls that we can put up and create a shoot house so we can teach these guys how to shoot, move, communicate with the pistol. So we teach them fun stuff as well, right? We're not just beating them down physically and hiking and ice bathing and pulling trucks the whole time. But he goes, we're gonna need a bell. And I said, Ray, why do we need a bell? He goes, well, in the SEAL teams, when you're going through BUDS training, if you want to quit, there's a bell. I go, Ray, these are a dozen guys who have paid $10,000 a piece to be here for 75 hours with us. They're not quitting. They're not quitting. He goes, watch. I'll make them quit. And sure enough, class 1, down there you could see we had 2 quitters out of 12 guys. And so every class we make these axes. On one side it says project on there. On the other side, it's their class number. This last class, we had 34 guys come, so we had 34 axes. Unfortunately, only 21 graduated.
Wow.
So the axes,
got some serious dropouts.
The axes that you see hanging there are the ones that quit and dropped out sometime during the 75 hours. Interestingly enough, every single guy that quits doesn't quit because the evolution got hard, whether they're crawling through the pit in the back or they're pulling a truck. They quit here first, and then they use the evolution as an excuse.
All right, you guys, Blitz time with the man of the hour. Paul Smith is wondering, thank you for submitting a question, is wondering what sales funnels do you use and what platforms are you using?
The platforms I use are ClickFunnels, WordPress, Shopify in terms of funnels, and then marketing platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and then Google, SEO, and paid ads.
No TikTok yet?
No TikTok.
Okay, soon to come?
I have a TikTok account, but we're not actually using it for a sales funnel. We're just nurturing an audience there.
Got it. Alfonso Sandoval is wondering how to be an investor or sole business owner in multiple businesses. Like, what would be your best advice to be able to run all of them your way and efficiently?
I do that now. And so I will not invest in a business or start a new business unless I have a leader already picked out, right? So my supplement company, for example, I had the idea of Trulian supplements for about 3 years, but until I found a leader who I can build a team around, I wasn't about to start it, because that means I have to go back in the trenches and I can no longer be the visionary.
Tazovo is asking how to start a business with little money.
The way you start a business with little money is you put a lot of sweat and time in, which is you're creating a content like 5 to 10 times a day, put out how-to content on all the social media platforms, create a WordPress site that's free, attach a PayPal button that's free, and then ask for money for the solutions to the problems that people have.
All right, the hustle and grind life is asking, how do you know when to walk away? Not letting a business venture become a personal conquest.
There's several different walkaways. There's walk away because you're selling the business, which I'm a big fan of. I've liquidated businesses before, and we're actually in the process of liquidating 2 of my businesses now. And then there's the walk away of this thing is killing me, it's eating me up alive, it's ruining my marriage, in which case, if you value your life and your marriage, let it go. You could always start a new business.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
You plan to run for governor? California needs a governor.
California does need a governor.
A man of self-discipline like yourself.
Touche. I do not plan on running for governor, but I do plan on supporting those that could be good candidates for governor in the future.
Well said. What does it say something about the person that is struggling with self-discipline? Is it something I'm born with? Is it something I can train in and get better at? What have you learned? And
it's a trait. I mean, I do believe nature and nurture plays a factor, right? Some people are born very type A, dialed in, OCD. Great. Guess what? Factory installed gift. Congratulations. You're more disciplined than the average person. The rest of us have to build the discipline muscle. It's a trait that can be developed. And most of us do have to develop it. Now, once again, do you want to develop it, or would you rather go be an employee, and that's okay too?
Gotcha. Yeah, I was listening to your videos earlier today, and you were talking about confidence and stacking up the little wins.
The W's,
right?
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. When you stack those W's, you begin to get more confident because of competency. Each time you do something and you win at it, and you're successful, even if it's, I'm not going to hit the snooze button, right? You don't hit the snooze button. Then you drink your 30 ounces of water like you said you were going to. You're stacking little W's throughout the morning.
Seems like miniature little steps.
That's
I mean,
it.
A cup of water or a glass of water.
Bro, when people ask me, what's their one tip for building a multi-million-dollar business? I'm like, I don't have one tip or strategy. Get tiny little wins throughout the day.
It's beautiful.
Show up here, do this interview, go to HQ, do more of the interview. You guys leave, do my podcast, come back again tonight, train with my son, stack my wins. Before you know it, days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years, and then someone's like, holy crap, that dude's made it.
Let's talk about the biggest challenge for you personally right now.
In my shoes where I am today, the biggest challenge for me is finding more leaders. I don't have a shortage of business ideas or business opportunities that come to me, right? I have a shortage of quality leaders that I can put at the helm of these business opportunities that I might invest in. So I have to turn away a lot of opportunities right now because there just aren't enough leaders out there who can run a team that I could go, hey, here's the vision, go run it, go execute, and here's the money to do what you need to do. So that's the biggest struggle that I have.
Where does that take us, though, with employees and building the right team? Sort of the follow-up question, right? That's pretty tough.
That's a great question. And so then that takes you to a place where maybe this recession that we're going into and this depression that's going to come of it is a good thing because the labor force is going to get thinned out. You're going to have more people in the market because we're seeing what Tesla put 10% of their employees out of jobs, Twitter, Amazon, like all these, exactly, Meta. And so you're seeing all these new employees in the market space who can become great leaders. And now we just have to find them. And so it is important to build a brand. And so how do I attract good leaders right now? By demonstrating that I have awesome companies, they're growing, we're really hard on ourselves, we don't take it easy around here. It's a high-speed train. We always joke about the fact that the high-speed train looks beautiful from the outside when it's zipping by. When you're in it, your teeth and kidneys are rattling out of your body.
Right.
But if you like that kind of craziness, welcome to HQ.
What makes a business, in general terms, scalable?
Business is scalable based on the people you have and the processes. So if it's one of those things, let's say you do high-level coaching, right? Well, you can only trade so much time for money. Now, if you can scale yourself by having other coaches under you that you've certified in the Paul method, let's say, now it becomes scalable through all those other coaches under you. But people alone aren't enough. They need processes as well so that every coach can deliver the same result and outcome. That's why McDonald's, Starbucks is so successful and scalable. Whatever McDonald's or Starbucks you go into, you're going to get the same thing, right? And so people and processes create scale.
Let's elaborate on that, the coaching program,
Sure.
right? The mentorship. At which point in time in your experience, in your entrepreneurship, did you decide to take that route and make it a business? Like what experience, skills does someone need to take that next level?
So for me specifically, it wasn't a conscious decision that I'm going to coach and mentor other entrepreneurs. In fact, what usually happens is when you're good at something, you start standing out and people hear about you and know about you. And people started to approach me and say, hey, you scaled those gyms, those businesses. Teach me how. And I realized, well, I didn't know how much to charge you. So I said, what do you want to pay? The first person paid like 10 grand for like 90 days.
It's not bad.
And I realized there is no overhead on this. There is no real big expense. This is big profits. So today I charge $100,000 for 12 months of coaching. It's called the Domination Year Coaching Program. It's very deliberately designed to repel new entrepreneurs and work with entrepreneurs that are doing $500,000 a year or more in business. And the reason I repel those that are doing under $500,000 a year is because through my podcasts on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes, you can pretty much get a PhD in entrepreneurship for free through my content. So I always say use my content for free to build a business that does at least $500,000 a year. Then if you really want to scale the profits, the revenues, your leadership, your meaning, and your fulfillment, then work with me at a very high level to add more zeros.
Aside from financing, what must I do as an entrepreneur in terms of planning before I launch the venue? I know, we can talk about it for days probably, but what can we highlight?
Once you got your financing and you've got your idea, the plan only looks good on paper, right? So you're going to have a loose plan of who's the market that I'm going to be selling this product for? What problem does it solve and for whom? How much do I want to charge and how am I going to market it? And then you go out to market. And if you're going to have to hire people, then hire the best people that you can for the least amount of money.
Or if you can't.
And if you can't, then you're going to be working around the clock doing as much work as you can, or you're going to recruit friends and family to work for you in exchange for some kind of equity. You might say, hey, I'm going to give you 2-3% equity in my business, so if you believe in it, you'll work for free in exchange for the back end profits that's going to come years from now, right? But really the plan only looks good on paper. So imagine in 2019, if someone was starting a franchise and they were like writing down what the franchise was, and it's going to be a hamburger franchise, and it's going to be for these really expensive burgers, like $25 a piece for each burger, and blah, 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 but custom made, grass-fed beef, etc., not knowing that March of 2020, there's going to be a pandemic that shuts down all restaurants. That plan that was perfect on paper becomes very malleable if you want to succeed in reality.
So you're saying we should just start somewhere?
Don't overplan. Imperfect action leads the way.
Imperfect action leads the way. I love it. Versus inaction.
Versus inaction. So many people just plan and plan and plan, overplan, again, as a way of avoiding jumping out of that plane. When you jump out of that plane, there's a high level of urgency, the splat factor.
That's true.
That motivates you to figure out how to turn your shirt and your pants into a parachute very quickly, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
How long ago since you officially became an entrepreneur? How many years ago?
Oh my gosh, 19 years.
19 years. How has it changed now in terms of becoming an entrepreneur? Is it easier? Is it harder? How would you reflect back 19 years ago then versus now?
Then it was harder because you only had one or two ways of going to market, people hearing about your product or service. Today it's easier, but it's more complex. Meaning, if you're like, man, I love making TikTok videos, go bananas on TikTok, demonstrating your product and service and how it solves a problem, and you will do well. But TikTok's going to demand a lot of content from you. And then now you're going to go, well, if I want to grow my business bigger, I got to do that same thing on Instagram. I got to do that same thing on Facebook. Now look at that. YouTube just launched Shorts, and so I got to do it there, and they launched Stories. So you have more variety here, so it gets complex. It's easier now to get to market, but a lot more moving parts. Back then, I didn't need video guys, I didn't even need one video guy, let alone three. It was simple, man. You write a direct mail piece, you send it out in the mail, and then people will call in and buy a product, or they'll go to a website, before email marketing was even a thing. But how cool is that the barrier is lower, but the complexity is higher. And that is what I love about marketing today, entrepreneurship today. There's a high level of complexity. It's become a chess game now, right? Like the competition could pop off on a viral video and just crush you, but you're just one good viral video away from gaining market share again.
Are you using any platforms to recruit people, or is it mainly your YouTube exposure now, your relationships, your mentors?
YouTube, Instagram. You get a big enough following where I can just put out a story and find a good mid-level, even high-level team member. A leader, I'll have to go recruit. Like if I'm looking for a leader, I'll have to go recruit by going on LinkedIn. Here's a little strategy. You go on LinkedIn, you look for a similar company that you just acquired or you're about to start. Like let's say...
You're talking about employee theft, quote unquote?
Is that what it's called?
No, I'm just joking.
It's called recruiting, right?
It's called recruiting.
So imagine this, a few years ago, we needed a compliance officer. So I went on LinkedIn and I looked for anyone that had franchise compliance officer in their profile. And we found several. And one of them worked for a pizza franchise. And we reached out to her and we said, hey, do you want to work for a pizza franchise, or do you want to work for a fitness brand that's growing, evolving, and gives you bigger and better opportunities? And we ended up winning her and recruiting her over.
That's awesome.
Right? Now, obviously, if she didn't have any intentions to leave, she would have said no thank you. But you have to recruit in times when there is just no quality leadership available.
Right.
Or you have to develop from within, which takes a while.
Right, yes. He's not going to be the person on the street without a job that you're going to recruit.
Right.
Where do you see this 10 years from now? Just curious with where things are headed technology-wise.
Dude.
What's your vision? I'm just curious to get inside your head.
I really see that the future is who has my customers. We need to start thinking that way. In other words, when you look at YouTube, yeah, there's a lot of people that have a lot of subscribers, but there's like a handful that have the mega subscribers. Right? Whether it's Mr. Beast or...
Shout out to you, Mr. Beast.
Right? Mr. Beast probably has a lot of your customers, my customers, someone else's customers. And so I want to know who has my customers on all the different platforms, the big mega followings, and how can I make it a win-win relationship to network with them, connect with them? Because if Mr. Beast gives a shout out for your product, you're moving the needle. Do I want one Mr. Beast or 20 micro beasts? And I think in the future, we're going to have a lot more big mega beasts like that.
Are we talking about a software that allows you to know that, or
No,
just
no.
in general speaking?
Human connection.
Got it.
I think Andy Frisella said this a long time ago. He said, success is found in inefficiencies. And I believe that to be true. It is so inefficient for me to sit here today for hours with you guys, right? When you look at efficiencies, I can be making a lot more money moving a money needle. But I think it's also important because I like to make human connections. I am wired that way. You might know someone that could benefit me. I might know someone that you might want to put on your show. And therefore, you're like, man, Bedros just made our life easier. So you're always going to, maybe I owe one to Bedros. And down the line, you meet someone, you're like, hey, Bedros, here's a coaching client. Like, those connections are important. It is inefficient, but we have to do the inefficient stuff. People always want the algorithm to carry my video, or what software can I use to scrape email addresses? Well, how about you have such an awesome freaking thing that people want to spend time on the platform and give you their contact info instead of scraping emails? I get it. It's inefficient, but they're parting ways with their time that they have only a finite amount of, and their money, which these days people have a finite amount of money as well. Like, come on, let's give them some time and connection.
I love that. Success is found in inefficiencies. How do you define entrepreneur?
To me, an entrepreneur is someone who's an innovator, a risk taker, and is willing to figure it out. Because in any industry, you can innovate. You can do something better. I can create a better exercise ball, a better dumbbell. Then you're an entrepreneur. And if you're willing to take the risk, put your neck on the line financially and time, right? And then you have to be willing to market, like put yourself out there and be willing to deal. Yeah, be willing to deal with their rejection. Otherwise, they say build a better mousetrap and they will come. That's a lie. Build a better mousetrap, market the shit out of it, and they will come.
That's true. I've really been blessed by getting to know you,
Likewise.
asking a ton of questions, learning from you, and I sure am convinced that our audience feel the same way. Any last words of anything from the bottom of your heart, whether it's regarding entrepreneurship, personal development? What's the peak for you at this point in time?
Yeah, well, I think the peak for me in my life is just to raise two amazing kids with my wife who will have a greater impact on this planet than I ever did. Like, I got my head out of my butt when I was in my late 20s and really found my stride in my mid 30s. I'm 48 now. My kids, we intentionally poured into them and started their evolution so early that they are just going to multiply 10x the impact that me and my wife could ever have on this planet. So that's my peak. But if there was any takeaway for the audience, for anyone, it's we are all born with a story. Maybe that story is a byproduct that we got. Like, I was molested as a kid by two older boys, and that left me with shame, rage, and confusion. I was foreigner to this country, very much like you were, and didn't speak the language, didn't understand the culture, and I was bullied and picked on and beat up by gangs because of where we lived. But my story was that I'm broken, that I'm not lovable, that I'm not smart, that people don't want to make friends with me. And if you believe that story long enough, you will start sabotaging every opportunity, whether it's business, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a friendship, or the most important relationship, the relationship you have with yourself. I would eat away my emotions, you know. I was always fat and out of shape because I don't love myself. Why would I do that? And so I share that with you because when you realize that you can take the pen back and start rewriting your story, there's so many blank pages left that you can decide how the story ends. And Bedros 1.0 is very different than the 2.0 and the 3.0 that I'm becoming. And I will continue to write the story regardless of what people say, like I'm clumsy, I'm stupid, I'm this. People from my past might still point back to my shortcomings, but I have the pen now, they don't. And I'm rewriting that story, and everyone else can take their own pen back and keep writing.
You just moved me emotionally because it resonates with me a lot.
There you go.
Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap with Bedros Keuilian. What an incredible, inspiring entrepreneur, and I hope episode for you guys where you can take away a lot. Thank you so much for watching. Please take a second to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you don't miss any of our videos. We've got some more incredible interviews coming up just for you.